Hello everyone, you're welcome back to another Math Olympiad challenge. Today's question looks simple, but don't let it confuse you. Here is the Olympiad challenge for today, which says x to the power of x to the power of 4 equals 64. Find the value of x. Before we solve anything, let's understand what this equation is all about. In this equation, we have the base, which is x, and we have the exponent, which is x raised to the power of 4. Here is the base and here is the exponent. Notice that the variable appeared twice, once as the base and again as an exponent. That immediately tells us that this isn't an ordinary exponent problem. Whenever a variable appears twice, guessing a few value is often a smart first step. Now, the first thing mathematicians often do is to rewrite this number on the right hand side, which is 64. So here is our 64. It can be rewritten as 2 raised to the power of 6, that is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 64 can also be rewritten as 4 cubed, that is 4 times 4 times 4. And also 64 can be rewritten as 8 square, that is 8 times 8. These different forms might help us to match the number on the left side, which is 64. Now let's start a few obvious simple values. Let's test x equals 2. If x equals 2, then x raised to the power of x to the power of 4 equals 64 will be 2 raised to the power of 2 to the power of 4 equals 64. 2 raised to the power of 4, that is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 2, 8. 8 times 2, 16. So we have it as 2 raised to the power of 16. 2 raised to the power of 16 will give us 65536. So x equals 2 doesn't work for this equation because the result is much larger than 64. Now let's try if x equals 1. If x equals 1, our equation again, x raised to the power of x to the power of 4 equals 64. Now we have 1 raised to the power of 1 to the power of 4 equals 64. 1 raised to the power of 4, that is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, will give us 1. So 1 raised to the power of 1 equals 64. 1 raised to the power of 1 is 1. So 1 equals 64 does not work for this equation. So if x equals 1 does not work for it. So this is also wrong. Now let's try if x equals a negative 2. Our equation again, x raised to the power of x to the power of 4 equals 64. Now we have it as what? Minus 2 raised to the power of minus 2 raised to the power of 4 equals 64. Minus 2 raised to the power of 4 will give us 16. So minus 2 raised to the power of 16 will give us 65536, which does not work for this equation. So if x equals minus 2 doesn't work, so that is incorrect. That means none of the simple values that we've used above worked for this equation. This is where many students become confused. Normally, if we have something like this, if you have 2 raised to the power of x equals 64, that makes the equation a transcendental equation, which means there is not a simple algebraic trick that gives an exact number or answer. Since there is no simple exact solution, we shall be using numeric methods to solve this equation. Let's estimate if x equals 1.5. If you substitute this into our equation, which is x raised to the power of x to the power of 4 equals 64, our result is going to be much smaller than 64. That means our result is going to be less than 64. Also, if we try if x equals 1.7, our result also is going to be greater than 64, but we need an answer that will be equal to 64, that will not be less than 64 and also greater than 64. That means the answer lies somewhere between if x equals 1.5 and if x equals 1.7. Using a numerical solver or method, that is, our x will now be what? 1.6236, because our x lies between these two numbers. Now let's verify if our x is truly correct. Our equation again, x raised to the power of x to the power of 4 equals 64. Now if x equals 1.6236, that is 1.6236 raised to the power of 1.6236 to the power of 4 equals 64. Let's solve this first, which is 1.6236 raised to the power of 4, which will give us 6.95. Now 1.6236 raised to the power of 6.95 will give us what? 64. That means our numerical estimate is correct. So our equation x raised to the power of x to the power of 4 equals 64 does not have a simple exact solution using elementary algebra. Therefore, the positive real solution is approximately x equals 1.6236, which is our final and correct answer. Thank you for watching.